What do you suspect is happening right now with the franchise tags, with moving forward with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and obviously Trey Hendrickson?
Yeah, I appreciate how you guys approach it as it's always so fluid. Things change so quickly. And I think sometimes when fans get angry or frustrated by information that is different by the hour at times, it's usually not because the information is wrong. It's things do change. You both know that well. So with that in mind, though, I think the Bengals, look, they've been very public about wanting to pay their stars and paying the important pieces of this team, the pillars of this Bengals team moving forward, knowing that Joe Burrow, he wants his weapons signed up. He wants T. Higgins there. He obviously wants Jamar Chase there. And I expect Jamar Chase to get this payday. He's going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in football. They're not there yet, though. The negotiations started recently, and I think they will arrive at that number around $40 million a year. I think they'll get there. They're just not there at this moment. And, guys, the T. Higgins situation, I really thought that there was going to be a harder push over the last few days to knock out a deal, because I know internally, especially all the way up from ownership, to the people in the front office, there has been a commitment to bringing T back. And we've heard Joe talk about it multiple times as well. And I've always thought, too, if Joe is saying this so publicly to us, and we've watched him maneuver, and he's the ultimate professional, and he's also very private. I can't imagine what those private conversations are like, when he's sitting there with the front office and even with the owner of what are we doing? We are not going to be able to win if we lose our guys. So I still expect over the next few days for conversations to heat up between T. Higgins' representation and the Bengals to see if they can do something here. Otherwise, I know there are teams lurking right now, hoping that the Bengals are going to be open to trading him. But the Trey Hendrickson side to this as well, he obviously is going to want an extension here. I just think when you talk about the order of how they're addressing everything, I think the Bengals organization is comfortable right now just pushing off Trey until they have to deal with it, knowing that they've got to figure out Jamar and T.
I know that Amy's going to want to come back to Trey, but before you just put out that little that little snippet of teams are lurking. Who are the teams that are lurking?
But essentially, any team that needs a wide receiver right now is making calls. I just got back from Indy at the Combine, where I think one of the most common questions I was getting outside of how are they going to pay all these guys, the other layer to it was, do you think that the Bengals will actually really trade them? I think that's the question everyone's looking at right now. And when you look around the league at teams that could use it, the teams that could use it are also teams that are looking for quarterbacks too, a lot of those teams. So that makes it complicated as well for organizations to get that settled with trying to get a trade done for T, if that becomes a possibility, without even knowing who their quarterback is going to be. Then you got teams like San Francisco who are, they're trying to shed some of their weapons right now, hoping to clear some of their books. You got the New England Patriots with a young rookie quarterback. They are starving for weapons.
No kidding.
I'd be surprised if they haven't made calls already. To try to see what the realistic possibility would be for T to move on, or for the Bengals to move on from T. So he's going to have a market. It's just going to be whether or not Cincinnati is going to be willing to do this, knowing that, look, historically, I don't have to tell you guys, we've seen how they've done it, and they've never really been the team that's going to break the bank for their players.
Well, Suzy, you're right. I do want to turn back to Trey Hendrickson. And Dianna, I've read and enjoyed all your coverage, and I certainly understand all the points that you've made, both in that which you've written and that which you just shared about the prioritization of the receivers and Joe Burrow's interest and or insistence on that prioritization. But I'm a firm believer that games are, for the most part, overwhelmingly won or lost at the line of scrimmage. And I worked for decades for the man who told me that the quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard. I don't know whether the word is perplexed, and it probably isn't perplexed, but
You're worried and concerned, probably.
Thank you. It's almost like you're a phenomenal writer or something, because you just gave me the best words. They should be prioritizing Trey Hendrickson more than they are, in my view. Is that not a discussion, or is it a discussion, or push me, pull you within the organization?
Yeah, the philosophy in Cincinnati is definitely one that needs to be questioned, especially with how we saw the season turned out. The offense was okay, right? They were winning them games in the end that they shouldn't have been winning. And obviously the defense was older, not as talented as we've seen in years past, but Trey delivers every single week. And the performance of the defense collectively, most likely cost Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator, who is very well respected in football, his job, because that side of the ball just isn't good enough. And it certainly doesn't match what the offense is, especially in this division. So in terms of criticizing them, I think that's all very fair. And I don't necessarily believe that there haven't been conversations with, we should get Trey done first. And it's always been clear that Jamar's the priority. And I think the three of us could agree that makes the most sense because of how wildly talented he is. But the fact that the defense isn't being addressed, and maybe it's just a timing thing with knowing that, the franchise tag came up here, so they had to address this first to buy themselves more time to get this deal done. It could have been, it's perhaps being presented to me that way because of it's literally the timetable of it all. But I don't get the sense that somebody in that building is going, we got to get Trey done right now because he's such an important part of the future here. And I think we all saw it up close at the Super Bowl with what the Philadelphia Eagles did against the Kansas City Chiefs offense in terms of the trenches. And that easily proves that is the most important piece, at least the foundation of a successful team.
Check out new episodes of What the Football with Suzy Shuster and Amy Trask every Tuesday. Watch us on the Rich Eisen Show YouTube page or follow and listen wherever you get your podcasts.